We are here at our undisclosed location, and we will be doing, as always, question and answers with Foundation staff. Maybe you're an intern looking to learn some new knowledge. Maybe you are a mobile task force member who's just making sure you're going to make it out of the next mission alive. Either way, you've got SCP questions. Hopefully I've got your SCP answers. So, let me know what's going on with you in the chat, and we will see how things go today. Currently right now trying something on my YouTube studio. It has not worked on browser before on my pad, but if I can get it to do slow mode on the chat, that would be helpful. Let me move my proper to the other side, that way the camera doesn't fall down, but I can still see your names. Attack Hell, welcome to the chat and thank you for being a member. Woo indeed. Unfortunately, YouTube Studio doesn't seem to play nicely with browsers, and that's frustrating for... Oh, okay, let's do this. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, but it's not letting me get to that one setting, which would let me turn on slow. Monetization. Slow mode. Give me slow mode. Nope. Does not allow me to make that happen, unfortunately. So we're just doing what we can with the chat. I'm gonna see if it holds activity in here, because it's not showing my preview either, so I'm not sure that it's actually working. Either way. Yes, wouldn't it be nice? But other than that, can SCP-113 change your chromosomes? The gender switching stone changes your entire biology, so that is just a function of the anomaly. Although, it hurts a whole bunch, so until we find a nicer way to do it that's more reliable than waiting for 6113 to come get you, it's all we got for the Foundation insurance plan. Crips and Chips. Good day, Dr. Sherman. I've got a question for you. Which SCP, in your experience, was the most deadly? Most deadly. So, obviously we could be talking about, God, so many. When day breaks, that anomaly, obviously, more than decimated, because decimated is destroyed 10% of. That thing nearly annihilated the entirety of humanity in one foul swoop. So, that did not go well for us. Beyond that, we may talk about SCP-3812, because obviously that entity is beyond all pataphysical reasons whatsoever, meaning it is, for one thing, it solos Goku. Get all the DBZ fans mad at me right at the start of the stream. That's how we do things here. Controversy. We court it. But yes, there's so many world enders that it's hard to rank the most deadly, because bleh. Now, one thing I want to point out while we're here, before I point that out, we have 155 viewers and 31 likes. So let's get those likes up to match the viewer count, everybody. I believe in you, Foundation staff. But beyond that, remember that a lot of people complain. They say, oh, every SCP is a world ender. Every SCP is dangerous. And that's not at all true. There's, at least on the English language wiki, over 7,000 articles, let alone the tales. And I would posit that most of them are pretty harmless. For instance, you've got, which one was it? 3707? Let me check my roster here. Going into the database. I'm checking the Site 42 database on the Red Division, because I have recorded a video recording of this article. So if you're looking for it, you can find audio of it, although I'm not sure you'd want to, because it is disgusting. We really went ham on the audio for that one. 3307, Cornucopy Ass, is a man who, whenever someone walks up to them while thinking about their favorite food, or any food at all really, then that food is expelled from an orifice on 3307's body. And that goes really poorly for him. If you think of like hot coffee and he has to whiz it out, or he has to snort a Snickers bar out of his nostril because that's what you wanted to eat. Most of the time when we send in a D class, it doesn't matter what they order, they refuse to eat whatever that order is. And I think they do so with good reason. Oh, I saw a member go by, but I missed it because the chat went by so fast. I apologize. Hope it was a good chat. I'm checking it real quick. Running, running, and running, running, and running, running, and running. Let's do it for Dr. Sherman. Like the video. Excellent choice. Dr. Sherman, I found a dimensional portal that leads to a land of dragons. Who did I call? Well, there seem to be two questions there. Or I guess one is a statement. Pardon me for 1 second, chat. I've got a visitor. Oof. Right.
Sherman. This is Sherman dog. I was gonna be here doing this for the
Yeah, this is the only on and off. I just don't want to have the camera up while I'm running around. I don't want y'all to be mistaken for this.
Alright, Lily. What would you like to do? Coach kiss? Would you like a candy cane? None? I'll put a candy cane in the stove over there. We'll come back tomorrow and get the whole studio to yourself, okay? We can send all that tomorrow. Good deal? All right. You ready? Let's hit it. Let's get it. Up in. Show Sherman what you got. Yeah, you mentioned what likes her science.
For science.
Science. Okay, I got all your duties here, okay? All right, back it up, kid. There you have it.
Safe journey. My apologies, everyone, to put you in the box for the moment. You, do not ignore when an overseer shows up. Whew. If they had caught me doing office hours instead of today's test, my. I mean, we should be doing the test, but there was a bit of a mix-up with researcher Evans, and I'm trying to cover for them right now. But unfortunately, researcher Evans liquefied a D class. You know, it's like a standard Tuesday around here. You know, a standard Tuesday on Friday. All right, let me catch up. Where were we? Ah, you enjoyed the darkness. Who brought their child to the Foundation? Listen, I don't... Are there child D classes? Yes, there are. There are tests that can only be done with children. And so we need children test subjects. It's not rocket science. Only because it's not rocket anomalies that we're testing it with. Otherwise, it would be children and rocket science, which I'm sure that'll come up eventually too. Hello, Sherman. How's your day? Here's my question. Please tell me how to escape you guys so you don't put me in a box. I'm not falling for that one again. Into the box you go. That's how you stay. Anomalies go in a box. That's the rule. Do not care. Reggie has the gender swap gun. There's no gun. There's a rock and a ghost, but we don't have a gun that changes genders. I haven't checked the foreign language branches, though. Do we have a gender gun? Do the French have the gender gun? Who has the gender gun? My word. Now, the nerfing gun, that's a gun we do have. The nerfing gun that makes everything worse. Pardon. Which has an exceedingly long testing log. Someone asked, what is the longest SCP? Just based on my memory, I think it would be the nerfing gun. Not the nerfing gun, I was just talking about the nerfing gun. No, my first guess would be the Ouroboros cycle. Because, I mean, the point of it is that it's long and repeating. But let me do a quick search for what is currently the longest SCP. Longest SCP article. 1730 was the longest one for a while. Not counting like infinite testing logs like 682 or 914, of course. 2017, 6 years ago. I'm looking for something a little more recent, though. Let's, okay, we're going to Reddit. It's always Reddit. We're looking for longest article, search, and find, let's see, 2 years ago, 2 months ago. Let's see what they said 2 months ago. 6488, Cactus's proposal. Oh, this is the longest article you've read. Right now I do not know, and the Reddit is not helping very much. So I'll see if I can figure that out for a future office hours. In the meantime, Truly Oni, thank you for your first dono to the Site 42 coffers. Make sure to grab a cruller on your way past the commissary later. How do you feel about the idea of D-Class being killed at the end of every month? I think the idea of being integrated into the ranks of the Foundation and not killed makes far more sense. So the ideal here is that if you have to terminate D-Class, it's likely a waste of resources at the end of the day. In fact, my favorite version of the protocols would be that we tell them that we'll be released at the end of the month, but then instead we amnesticize them and put them back through the cycle. And of course we keep them separate so that someone doesn't see someone who should be freed, because that would throw off the whole thing. We got to keep them in separate bunkers, separate, like the population gets reset every month, and that would keep things without wasting resources. Now, integrating them in the ranks of the Foundation, that is iffy. I mean, these are mostly criminals and ne'er-do-wells and children and homeless people we abducted and pretty much anyone we can get away with sticking in a cell in an orange jumpsuit. So they're not likely keen to help us, but maybe if they were useful enough, we would consent to them joining the ranks. But it's not very likely. Star Fun Play, thank you for your donation to Site 42. Make sure to grab a croissant on your way past the commissary later. If an anomalous entity has loved ones, people who they're really to like a romantic partner or a family members, what does the Foundation do to them? So if we have to contain an anomaly that has family and friends or romantic partners, stuff like that, the standard protocol is usually fake their death. Fake their death and put out a fake death certificate, put out an obituary, tell them we found them somewhere, fake a corpse, fake an autopsy, and that is where we would draw the line. It's very sad for them, but end of the day, we can't have people chasing loose ends. If their family starts hunting for the truth, then that's when we bust out the amnestics. But we're not going to waste that level of resources unless we have to. Great question, though. Really learning about the Foundation protocols today. Dr. Sherman, help. I think SCP-096 got the gender-switching stone. Help, he is doing TikTok dances. If it got the gender-switching stone, does that mean that it was a she beforehand and now it's a he? Is that what you're saying? Very interesting. You know, part of the problem with being a Foundation researcher is we treat all entities as objects, not people. So we use it pronouns for everything. It doesn't matter boy, girl, one or the other, none of the other, all of them at once. It doesn't matter what you are, you're an it if you are an anomaly. Ergo, never really paid attention to their pronouns in the first place, but very interesting. You've illuminated something for me today. Thank you. Today, I learned something in the office hours. Hickey the Weirdo. Dr. Sherman, is Reggie still giving out free hugs? If so, can I still get one? Okay. Let me clarify something to our Site 42 staff so they do not run into danger. If you see a plague doctor and it has a brown mask, a hat, and a scarf, that is Reggie. That one is safe to hug. If you see a plague doctor with a white mask and none of the other accoutrements, that is SCP-049, and you will perish if you hug it. So, Reggie, safe to hug, brown mask. 049, white mask, not safe to hug. Do not hug. Now, I understand the confusion because out of kayfabe, both in the case of the videos you've seen recently on Site 42 were played by the same creator, Ye Olde Dumbass. And so make sure you follow Ye Olde Dumbass on YouTube for more Reggie content. He's been a little inactive recently. I mean, I've been a little inactive recently on creating new content, but in the meantime, he would appreciate the sub and we can grow other creators in the adjacent SCP and non-SCP community. What if we put a bag over SCP-096's face so no one has to look at him? Will it work? So, obviously, yes. If you put a bag over its head, then while you are present with 096, you will not see its face, therefore you will not perish. In fact, there's a really good Department of Abnormalities article. Let me see if I can find it real quick, because I think you guys will enjoy it. Department of Abnormalities 096. If you look at SCP 3790, is that it? Read more. No, that's a different article. Okay, there is an SCP article that's Department of Abnormalities, and it is a bunker in which you can see a bunch of blindfolds and low ceilings and corners that are meant to make it so you can't see its face when you see it immediately. And that is a origin story for 096. It's pretty cool, but I can't find it right now. But if we can find that, it would be really cool, because it's a cool article. Darn it. Long story short, the problem is not that putting a bag on it works, because it does. The problem is that if there's a picture anywhere out in the world, it will sense that it's been seen and go hunt that down, and then we got to recontain it, and there's lots of blood and death in the way. So that's the big problem, is that, my word, it's hard to keep locked up, because we can't find out if every picture is there without getting ourselves messed up as well. Desk, welcome to the chat, and thank you for your service. If you read SCP-1000, Bigfoot, and its talk about Day of Flowers, could that be a reference to Lily's proposal, The World's Gone Beautiful? One of my favorite 001s, and I don't know, let me take a quick peek at what they might mean. Because it sounds like it could be an easy link. It just depends on what context they're using it in. So I'm going to go to the article real quick, and I'm just going to Control F for... How do I do that on iPad? What are we doing here? What the hell? Can you please work for me? Find on page. Lovely. I know how to use technology. There we go. We wiped out 70% of SCP-1000's population in a single day, the Day of Flowers, the children called it. Supposedly every flower bloomed that day while our enemies died in their sleep. Then we hunted the rest down, but we went further than just killing them. With a few of the more twisted of SCP-1000's devices, we drove the survivors mad, even those hiding beyond our reach. We trapped them in their own minds, blocking higher functions and leaving their bodies to fend for themselves like any ordinary ape. We slaughtered their living machines and burned their vast shining cities with SCP-1000's bioweapons that reduced everything to slurry and dust that washed or blew away in spring rain and wind. Okay, well, on one hand, because it's not the end of the whole planet, I do not think it's exactly a reference to SCP-001, because, or Lily's proposal, because obviously not everything died. But if we assume, and this is a big stretch, we can make the assumption that the SCP article for 001 Lily's proposal was from a universe where SCP-1000 are the foundation itself. Then one could assume that the flowers blooming was a sign of the defeat of SCP-1000 species. Ergo, it is, you could tweak it a little bit to be the end of the world for specifically the SCP-1000 race. I think it's a bit of a stretch, but it's not, I'm not going to lose an arm from stretching that far. That's how I'll put it. In the meantime, congratulations, Site42 staff. You have beaten the likes to viewers ratio on the stream. Oh, it just went viewers or higher again, so hit that like button, see if we can't keep it ahead of the view count. Site42 staff always wins. Have you ever had an enlightened experience in a ball pit? So, I'm not supposed to tell you guys about this, but in the Site Director's Lounge, which is an extra-dimensional space, let's call it. There's a door in every site that leads to the Site Director's Lounge, but only the Site Directors can get in. And so, keep this mum, would you? It turns out that there is literally a ball pit of enlightenment. It is, now, humorously speaking, if you remember the meme of the ball pit from DashCon, that's exactly what we have in there. It looks like a sad little ball pit. And you look at it and you're like, wow, this convention was totally worth it. Totally want another hour in that ball pit for sure. But that's the trick. Once you set into the ball pit of enlightenment, one person at a time, please, and you lay back, then all of a sudden it becomes similar to a sensory deprivation chamber. And you become very much in tune with the universe of the ball pit. And you can have some very, enlightening wisdom granted to you by the spirit of the ball pit of enlightenment. But this is for site directors only. Now, obviously, overseers are above site directors. They're welcome in the site director break room, but they wouldn't go there. They have more excellent enlightenment objects for there. That's why we get the enlightenment ball pit. Benefits package, am I right? Let's see. Star Fun Play, thank you for donating the Site 42 coffers. Grab yourself a coffee on your way past the commissary later. How does the Foundation contain teleporting entities? So that is an excellent question. We have a lot of theoretical ways to contain teleporting anomalies, and depending on which canon / universe / layer of reality you're on, that depends on how well they work. For instance, I could very easily, in the universe where they are functional, talk about Scranton reality anchors. A Scranton reality anchor is basically the Foundation's get out of jail free card, because we simply turn on the anchors, no anomaly works no more. Now, they are a very large amount of power, and so they're unwieldy to use, so it's not expressly great. We can't use them for everything, but a teleporter, especially if it were annoying enough to catch and it kept running away, yeah, we would probably use a reality anchor for that. Otherwise, you know the reluctant dimension hopper, SCP-507, and chill dude, but he can't catch a break and we can't contain him. He just disappears and we have to check the tracker on him and hunt him down. So yeah, teleporters are a hassle. And the situation is simply that we do our best in whichever universe and what power level we may be there. What does SCP stand for? It's short for Secure, Contain, Protect. Sometimes. Now remember, I'm going to drop some knowledge on you, some history, so to speak. Remember that Secure, Contain, Protect is the second meaning of SCP. Ooh, yes. Secure, Contain, Protect showed up later. In the initial form, SCP simply stood for Special Containment Procedures. And if you look at SCP-173, the original article, yes, that is Special Containment Procedures. That's what it means. So we used to be just known as the Foundation. The Foundation is the people running the show, and then SCP was Special Containment Procedures. After some internet tomfoolery, people started calling us the SCP Foundation, and people started calling them SCPs and stuff like that, and Secure, Contain, Protect became a motto, and it became such a popular motto that it overtook the original meaning, Special Containment Procedures. So keep that in mind. It's a little fun Easter egg. If someone's like, what does SCP mean? You can show them the real meaning of Christmas. I mean, SCP. Why don't you use the reptile to kill 096? Well, do you think the reptile's going to listen to us? Do you think it does it for us? Last time we put 096 in 682's area, we told you all about this. It's in the testing log. 096 just sat there crying, and 682 degrew all of its eyes, so it didn't have eyeballs. Therefore, it couldn't see 096's face. Therefore, it could not activate 096, because it doesn't want to fight 096. And we're not going to be able to get it to fight 096. So at the end of the day, you got nothing there. Is SCP-999 a solid or a liquid? Well, is Jello a solid or a liquid? Or a fourth thing. Is Jello a liquid or a solid? So Jello is a sort of semi-rigid structure suspended in a liquid. That's an example of something called a colloid. Colloid. If you heat it up enough, the protein structure will become dissolved again and it will become liquid all through. So you would say that it is a colloid. 999 is a colloid. Do you have a theory on where Josie the cat, half-cat's end would be? I do not have a theory on that, unfortunately. It could be really anywhere. Oh, SCP-999, you are here. Yes, officially you're a colloid. Also, you learned type, which I am strangely concerned about because you don't have hands. That's a weird one. But I'm not working that anomaly right now. I am over here on a different one. So that is for your research head to deal with today. Checking in the chat. Checking in the chat. Oh, hello, Jacob Moss. Thank you for your donation to the Site 42 coffers. Make sure to grab yourself a creme brulee at the commissary later. I've been dying to ask this question for some time. What's your favorite naval SCP? KMS Bismarck is already confirmed as an SCP as an example. Do you have a favorite in this vein? That is a wonderful question, and I haven't been asked it before in office hours, so good work, Jacob. I appreciate it. So I have 2 favorite nautical anomalies. Now, they're for 2 different reasons, and so I kind of find it hard to apples and oranges. I just want to say both of them. Now, one of them is one of the first SCPs I remember reading, and I don't remember its number, nor do I remember its title. And so as I describe it, if you guys think of what it is to describe it to me, I would appreciate you trying to shout out what number it is. But it is a large coral-like structure, and you can go inside it and get digested. And the log of the exploration log is Mobile Task Force guys who got stuck in there, and they are being eaten, and their dive suits are being eaten, and they barely make it out. And I think it's 835? Graphic depiction of blood, gore, or mutilation of body parts. This article contains adult content. Well, that sounds right. 835, you're the terrible one. See revised file. Still more adult content. And come on, where are you? I'm pretty sure it's 835 that I'm talking about because it's just utterly horrifying. There we go, after action report. This is the interview I remember. It's real bad. Woof. Yeah, 835 is horrifying. That's why it's one of my favorite nautical anomalies, just for sheer, oh dear God, help me value. And then as a troll, my other favorite SCP is going to Google so I can get the right number, although I think they got the number that they wanted. While this is loading, Suss's shitpost basin, Dr. Sherman are birds A, real, B, organic, and C, anomalous. No comment? No comment? No comment. SCP Siren Head. Ooh. You see, SCP Siren Head as one word, not 2. That is SCP-5987. And it is a boat. It is not the Siren Head that everyone knows from Trevor Henderson, which is not an SCP. Instead, let's go to 5978. Where are you? 5987. 5987. Go! So, SCP-5987 is a boat. French Captain Francois Agrenadieu, captain of the Dux de Danzig. The item is believed to be a preternatural being of some renown, although a full description of abilities is unconfirmed. What has been observed is able to physically control the paths of other ships within eyesight. So it's a naval ship that does anomalous things, but the funny thing about it is that the author of it took advantage of the fact that there was a big to-do about Siren Head from Trevor Henderson being an SCP when it's really not at the time. And so they wrote a troll article about a boat that was a siren, like a siren that sings sailors to their death. The boat has a figurehead and it sings boats to move and stuff. And so with that, they called it Siren Head, as in the masthead of a ship is a siren. And they did it as a joke to get people to read the article because they would think it was Siren Head. So 835 for serious, horrifying nautical SCPs. SCP-5987, Siren Head, for funny haha troll story. What was that? I just saw a good question, now it's gone! You don't know what you got till it's gone. Oh, yes. Will the X is Not an SCP series be coming back? Great question. So, the last 6 months for Out of Character Sherman have been crazy. There was family emergencies and funerals and stuff, and then a play that I was doing for several months, and so I've been out of the business for a bit. But I am back, and besides catching up on a little freelance work, starting in December and January, we are getting back to normal Site-42 production, and that'll be getting ahead on some normal readings and some other ideas I have for new shows, as well as I want to get the X is Not an SCP series back up in production. I want to get new entities, I want to get new scripts, I want to make that series really sing this time around. So yes, it is coming back in the next couple of months. Be aware. The Fleet of Oceans, thank you for your third dono to the Site-42 coffers. Make sure to get yourself a cup of Joe at the commissary. Not that cup of Joe, of course. Unless Joe's been a dick, then go ahead. I come from the naval history YouTuber, The Rackinphil, and as such, I have a question related to the previous gentleman's question. Do you have any notable warship SCPs? So, that would be the Bismarck, for one. You already have the KMS Bismarck. Isn't that an SCP? We have an SCP for the Bismarck. That's not just a famous story that I'm relating to SCP. That's definitely an SCP, or we have an SCP about it. I'm Googling it now to make sure. Also, we are soon to be coming up on the end of our office hours for the day. So, yes. Bismarck SCP. So, our article about the Bismarck is SCP-4217. Obviously, Siren Head is a ship of some sort. But then we have other battleship SCPs as well. So what I like to do is I like to, anytime I have an SCP question, I type SCP into Google, and then I type a keyword that would help me find what I'm looking for. In this case, I'm typing SCP battleship, and I get 2846 is a battleship SCP, 7531 is a warship of unknown classification, 2120 are various anomalous naval vessels. Nope, I didn't say any wrong ones. All the ones I read were official. 2117 is a ship. And so yes, we have multiple warship SCPs, although I'd say 4217, the Bismarck, is our most notable one. And then I would say ship. The other one that I find notable is SCP 4456-D, which is a anomalous ship that, if I remember correctly, it messed with, is an unmanned 16th century galleon named Soy Miamante. In terms of appearance, 4456 is no different from ships of her model during the 1500s. Every 4 to 6 days, an exact copy of SCP-4456 is generated in the nearest area of water that can hold her. If the new SCP-4556 instance is ever provided with approximately $519,000 in gold, silver, or gemstones, it will instantly disappear. And so, because it costs so much money to keep getting rid of these anomalous ships, we ended up decommissioning that anomaly. So, that is a notable one because it really is one of the first articles to kickstart decommissionings on the SCP Wiki after they had been out of vogue for being a little mean to new authors back in the day. Because decommissions used to be just, oh, this article's so bad, we're going to write about how we destroy this thing. And it was kind of mean to the authors, so they took decommissioning out of fashion for a while. But this guy, Calibold, brought it back as a part of the Foundation's got to do it. Sometimes an anomaly is too expensive to contain or too hard to contain, so we got to decommission it. I mean, we want to decommission it at 682 because it's a jerk. So yeah, it's to me, the Bismarck is one, and then 4456-D is another notable nautical SCP. God, that's fun to say. SCP-999. Wow, where did you get money? But thank you for donating to the Site-42 coffers. Make sure to catch some Skittles while you're over at the commissary. So do I got to dad? Someone called me fatherless, and I'm starting to rethink life and also what happens if someone eats me. So, to answer the easier question first, if you are eaten, the part of you goes through their digestive tract, tickling them all the way down, comes out the other end. That thought makes me uncomfortable, which is why I don't want to do it. But it does not harm you. Now, on the other end, on the answer of your father, I'm going to consider that classified for reasons that, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, other researchers in the chat should not tell it about. Do not. Just don't. Don't. But I have to get ready for the next people who are already coming in. And so, with that in mind, I will, as always, end our stream by reminding you of my favorite SCPs. Now remember, my SCPs that I've written are not my favorite SCPs that I list because obviously that would be mean and cheating. I love my SCPs the best because I wrote them. If you want to see them, go to the link in my description, the Beacons link, where you can see all of our Patreon and channel member stuff and support Site-42 by buying merch and all that. You can do that and also see the SCPs I wrote at my author page. Beyond that, my favorite SCPs are 3999, 3043, 008-J, Spooky-J, 5175, 5031, 5320. One more time through the rotation. Hope you got your pens out. 3999, 3043, 008-J, Spooky-J, 5320, 5175, no, 5031, 5175, and 5320. There we go. So, with that, I am off to my next session. The test is ready. We have a non-liquefied D class. Be safe, be well, secure, contain, protect, and I will see you in the next video or stream. I'm addicted to stress, that's the way that I get things done. If I'm not under pressure, then I sleep too long and I hang around like a bum. I think I'm going nowhere and that makes me nervous. Everybody's out to get me, but I feel alright. Everybody's out to get me, but I feel alright. Everybody's out to get me, but I feel alright. Everybody's thinking about me.